Hi, it's Noel Williams, Optimal Health Associates, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. COVID update on April 5th, 2020. I am outside today. It's a beautiful day in Oklahoma City. It's been transcendently gorgeous, probably starting about 1. It was a little cold this morning, and then the last 2 days were not so pleasant. So you're going to hear outside noises, but that's okay. I need to be outside too because being inside all the time drives you insane. And so we're going to focus on a few things tonight with COVID-19 update, and we'll start with just some statistics. About 1.275 million people infected, figure double, triple that amount really. About 70,000 have passed from this. Again, probably about double or triple or more because you know the Chinese data is baloney. In the United States, we're at about 335,000 and just shy of 10,000 deaths. Again, New York is just a disaster area. And that is not a criticism. I want to be very clear of anyone in New York or Governor Cuomo or their medical people because they are absolutely doing amazing stuff. Oklahoma, we're about 1,200 cases of positives with about 43, 44, 46 deaths. Some of you may have seen that I've posted the amount of testing in Oklahoma. We lead from the bottom. We're the first state with least testing, or the last state of testing efficiency, less than 0.5 per thousand, 0.57 per thousand. Got an update on that from a few people. I think our total number of tests were 2,700 or 2,750 so far. Most states are at 8,000 to 10,000, and some are, 5, 10 times that amount. But that's okay. We're in Oklahoma, and we know that I think it's been pretty clearly established that the state health department has failed, the state epidemiologist has failed, and all that stuff. I don't think it's all that important, but now at this point, because of some other stuff. But, it's just, again, I'm a record person. I think we need to know where the failures are so we can try to fix them later. Just like I've had some wonderful communications. One person, deputy sheriff, retired gentleman named first name Aaron. He's in Montana now. Was in California during a lot of stuff that happened there with the fires and everything. A wonderful, erudite communicator, and he did point out that to me that some of my comments could be considered a little too critical of Trump. And I want to be clear about something. And he made a very valid point that Trump knows about as much about viruses and epidemiology as I know about Intel microchips. And he's dependent on his advisors. And so if we go with that, which I'm more than happy to, his advisors have been Anthony Fauci, sorry, Robert Redfield, and Secretary Azar. So if we don't want to be frustrated with Trump, because it is true, I mean, he has to listen to people. Those three people failed. Again, I mean, looking at the data today, and again, at this point, we just have to laugh because there's nothing we can do. The Health and Human Services Department put their first order in for N95 masks on March 6th and really increased it on March 15th or 16th. They missed the entire 2 months. And that, again, is why I sometimes don't feel like Dr. Fauci is the doctor of America or the point guard of America. His job was to not let this happen and have supplies. But be that as it may, let's leave that alone. But I do respect the opinions of others who are intelligent and well-spoken. And I do agree that Trump did not get good advice, or at least didn't listen to good advice. But I think it's a combination therein that the surrounding people did not help. And I want to also be clear: it would have been the same surrounding people whether it was Obama, Bush 2, Clinton, or Bush 1. So we would have had the same failures. It's not the president, and in some respects as much as the people around the president, and we've not had successful people addressing this for forever. But remember, Dr. Fauci, again, sorry, has been there since 1985-86, so clearly he didn't get the game plan. So let's move ahead, but he's done great this last 3 or 4 weeks, so he's doing better. So let's talk about positives. So I think Bill Gates' data is remarkable. It's truly remarkable, and he's really focusing on the fact that if we when the surge is going to be, and if we do certain things, how well the viral infection rate will respond. And I posted something on a mathematical model for viral infections, and it's posted on where, Kim? Pretty much everywhere.
It's on YouTube and Facebook.
YouTube and Facebook. Take the 23 minutes to watch it. I've watched it several times, and it gave me immense happiness because it shows that in a lot of places, particularly Oklahoma and anywhere in the central Midwest, with some significant modifications of behavior, we can really knock this virus down before we surge. So the surge here is expected somewhere in about 2 to 3 weeks. I think it's going to be later, but I'm going with Liz Sprite and splitting with Bill Gates. So I'm thinking it's going to be mid-May. But even if it's just April, if we do the following things, really focus on sheltering in place, really focus on hand washing, crazy as it seems, as I mentioned last night, wash your hands 24/7, all the time, everywhere you go. Use hand sanitizer. It's going to impact it, along with sheltering in place. Masks if you can have them, and social distancing. So those things alone will attenuate or blunt the wave of infection. We'll have the same number of infections in the end, but we'll be able to manage them. Instead of having this huge wave up, we're going to go like this, especially in the Midwestern states. So it really matters to shelter at home. You have to think about doing it. When you go out, think, do I really need to go out? I mean, think about it. When I was riding my bike around today, I did notice that there were lots of people congregating together. That's self-defeating for everyone. And then if your teenagers are still, you feel bad for them and you need them to have their friends over and all that stuff, you're self-defeating the whole plan. So you got to sometimes step up and go, no, you got to stay home. Sorry, they're a vector of transmission. God willing, they're not going to get sick. And that's a beautiful thing on this, that children and teenagers for the most part are not going to get sick, but it doesn't mean they won't transmit the virus to us older people, so don't do it. We had a report from Sierra Shear, who's a longtime Oklahoma City person. She's 29. She's been best friends with my son. She's living in Boston. Her significant other is an ICU doctor in that city. He reported to her, which she then shared with people here in Oklahoma City today, that over 50 to 60% of the people in the intensive care unit are between 30 and 50 years old in Boston, that at his hospital. The younger people are getting sick. Now, not compared to the teenagers, but 30 to 50-year-olds wasn't what was coming out of China, so let's think about that. Again, social distancing, washing your hands, wearing a mask, staying at home really matters. Look at the mathematical model stuff I posted. If you watch that for 20 minutes, you'll get the whole thing. One of the other points I want to make tonight is all of us have friends who think this is all baloney. They want the city reopened. They don't understand why the Mayor Holt did this in Oklahoma City. They don't understand any of it. Forgive them, but also later, when it does turn out it isn't as bad, because all these people like myself, all these doctors, all these Autumn Abernathy, all these people who are just doing everything they can to communicate, stay at home, wash your hands, do this, they're blunting the curve. The people who are going, oh, none of this is going to happen to me, and still going out and still doing stuff, they're the ones who are going to cause people to die. And so, but when the overall volume of disease events is less, it's because of the ones who listened. It's kind of like the anti-vaxxers and the people who believe in vaccines. The whole reason the anti-vaxxers get to live is because of all the people like me who got my children vaccinated. And I don't want to get into a whole big discussion about vaccines right now. But the benefit of 90% of us getting vaccinated, and our children vaccinated, is the other people who are not smart enough to understand that vaccines matter, they're protected. And so that's where we have our issues with vaccines, is they get the benefit of us doing the hard work, just like the people who don't pay attention to the rules about our thought processes on this don't understand we're doing all the work and they're going to get lucky. So I do have a thank you that I have to shout out from Bill Bondurant, tonight, and I want to give a lot of attention to it. So just give me a second because I don't know the gentleman's name as well as I should. Um, from an executive VP at American Fidelity, I believe it's Mr. Byrne. And I'm sorry if I don't have the name right, brought to Dr. Bondurant several N95 high-end, more definitive masks to get to Mercy and to protect his staff with a ton of filters. And that's the other thing I want you all to think about, whether you're in Oklahoma City, Shawnee, Ada, every single person now who has N95 masks that are super the higher end. If you're a woodworker, you're a potter, anybody who has that, bring those to the hospital in the whole state. The nurses are having to reuse stuff, not at the big hospitals, but at the smaller hospitals. They are. Every single hospital in the state needs more N95 masks. So go out to your shed or go out to your work area, and if you've been a potter, a painter, a carpenter, and you have N95 masks that are sitting on the shelf, bring them to your local hospital. All of us, when we're going out, we can wear a bandana. You can wear a reusable N95 mask, but a bandana or a buff, will be still protective for us as we go around. But the hospital people really need the formal things. So think about it. You have N95 stuff or N99 stuff or anything like that in your workshop. Bring it to your local hospital, especially in these smaller communities. The smaller communities are getting totally shorted. There's no federal government supplies left now, so we really need that stuff to get here. So overall, I think we're in great shape in Oklahoma. We have a wonderful group of physicians and administrators doing lots of stuff. So please, please, please follow the guidelines of staying at home, washing your hands more times than you can ever think of, masks if you have them, or at least face coverings, the new name for masks, and keep social distancing. And it really does matter if it's your teenager or your child. Like, I haven't seen my 29-year-old in 3 weeks, Noel, who's a dentist. We talk on the phone, but no, he doesn't come over. I miss him, but we can't see him. So that's okay because we want him to be safe and we need to be safe. So have a great week. Watch the news. Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 9 in the Daily Oklahoman are going to be doing everything they can to educate people this week and the next week so we can impact the surge of COVID-19. Take care. Good night.